Guys, welcome back. I apologize for the delay for the infantry tier list, but let's do it now. So, just like the previous one, it's pretty hard to understand the tier list if you don't listen to the commentary, because, for example, I ranked this new hero as D tier, but in some situation, it could go to just as high as tier A. So yeah, if you want to take a look at the tier list, go ahead, click on pause, and we'll head into the game to explain everything about these heroes. So, Night Reaper, Vika. It's an infantry melee hero. If you check the skill, so when attacked with a regular attack, there is a 100% chance to deal 83% damage to the attacker, and every counter attack increases the attack of the hero squad by 21% until the end of battle. Then we've got some healing, it seems, yeah. Reduces damage taken from regular attacks and skill by 20.5% for the hero squad when the warrior amount is less than 50% of the initial value. The hero squad is immediately healed with a healing ratio of 460, but it can only be triggered once per battle. Okay, I insist on that part. Then we've got attack, defense, and HP as usual. Right here we've got some attack, and there in the first 3 rounds, the initial damage from the skills dealt by all squads on both sides is reduced by 15.5%. After the effect ends, all infantry squads deal 25.5% more additional damage from skills until the end of the battle. So basically, this skill will also affect you, so it's oriented toward long-lasting battles, which makes sense if you're running infantry. It won't make much sense if you're running a mixed composition with infantry and archers, because you're basically nerfing your archers, and you don't want that, so keep that in mind. And also, it's the first 3 rounds. Most PvP battles last 4 to 6 rounds, so it's not much, but it can be like half of the fight depending on the duration. Obviously, if you're running full infantry, you will want to drag the fight for as long as possible. So it might, yeah. The skill is interesting, but in my opinion, it just doesn't scale well. Like, it won't work as well as you might think, and I believe you will just get wiped out. So I'm not a big fan of this skill, but this one is actually interesting. So when you get a regular attack, so this is basically a counter to the archer heroes, who are a lot oriented on the basic attacks. Where is it? Oh, regular attacks right here, as you can see. Then you've got regular attacks. So yeah, this is why I said that this hero can go from rank D to tier A. It's because this skill is kind of a counter to the new PvP island heroes. But the problem is, it's very situational, and the other biggest problem is that it deals 83%, and the multiplicator with the level right here is only ×1. So yeah, it's a nice counter, but this hero is definitely not damage oriented, so even if you trigger an attack every time it gets hit by irregular attacks, and all regular attacks are gonna get focused on him since he's front line, the problem is you're not gonna retaliate with a lot of damage back. And yes, you have a damage increase right here. Every counter attack increases the attack of the hero squad by 21%, but it's not gonna be enough. So this is a very situational hero. It can work well in some situation, but overall, it's really not the best. This is why it's tier D. Like, the last skill is pretty bad. The first skill has some usage, but very limited. And this skill right here, it can only be triggered once per battle. And honestly, once you're down to 50% of troops, even if you heal a lot, because the ratio isn't bad, and yeah, it just won't be enough. Like, if you're already down to 50%, you're almost fucked. So overall, I rank this hero tier D, but honestly, if you level it up and you know when to use it and where to use it, like, yeah, I guess it all comes down to who you put with him and against who you're gonna use it. So depending on the type of like PvP you're doing, it might be good, like depending on the opponents and the type of PvP. But yeah, overall, I'd still rank it in the trash bin. So yeah, that's all about Night Reaper. Let's go with the Salvation Guard Breeden. So it's an assist infantry hero, and it's a frontliner, just like Night Reaper right here. So the first skill, heals 2 random's own squad every round with a healing ratio of 132%. Then we've got 80% chance to deal 174 damage to a random enemy squad, and a 50% chance to disarm them, preventing them from using regular attacks from round. So once again, we've got some counter to the archers, which is pretty interesting. Yeah. And yeah, as you can see, the damage is a bit, like, it's slightly better than the other hero. The healing is also non-conditional, like, every round you triggers it, it's not just a one-time heal, and the ratio is not bad. If you've got a beast and stuff like that, it can be a really, really, really good tank, because you're gonna heal a lot, and yeah, the enemy is basically gonna have a hard time going through this guy. Then we've got the 6 skill, attack, defense, and HP, very good. Then we've got HP. In my opinion, this is one of the best boosts you can get, and it is the best boost you can get with the infantry emo. And then in the first 4 rounds, so this is insane, like it's 4 rounds, and like it's half of the fight if you fight for 8 rounds, but most of the time it's only 6 round stop, so it's even crazier than half of this. Yeah, all own infantry squad receives 25.5 less additional damage from skills, and it is skills, okay? So obviously for composition that are heavily oriented around basic attack, it's not going to be as effective, but then again, you've got this skill for that, and it only concerns a few heroes. Like, most of the heroes are all about skill damage, so in most cases, this skill is completely OP, and you can also use it with mixed composition, because this is a frontliner, so you're obviously going to use the infantry for him in the front line, and then you've got all your archers, so yeah. This is an insane tank, and it actually changed, because like most people are actually using this big guy right here, Jedi Hammer, or maybe some are using Alpha Wolf. A few also are using Tight Collar Front, or maybe Siren Killer for some others. I know that Glamorous has been released as well, but like, I mean, there are a lot of options. Contemplative could be a good option, as well, as I mentioned in my previous video, but like, overall, we don't have many very solid options, or rather, we do have solid options, but most people are just going with what's the easiest thing to get, which is Jedi Hammer or Alpha Wolf, because the new heroes are kind of hard to get, and Siren Killer is good, but not as good as a Jedi, so yeah. It's kind of great to have some new frontliners, and especially when they are this strong, and I really like that we're really going somewhere with the healing right here, and I like that they introduce new mechanics and that we can actually use them, because we've got the new, like, there is the giant ape which introduced the healing, but it wasn't really going anywhere, and now we've got some healing in the game, so it's really interesting. Still, keep in mind that even though it would work pretty well with mixed comp, this last skill only affects infantry squads. So if you're running infantry, it's gonna affect all 3 rows. If you're running infantry, archers, it's gonna affect only the first 2. And if you just use EAA, you're just gonna have this buff on this big guy. Okay, so keep that in mind, and don't be scared to test things out with this hero. You're probably not gonna regret it. So yeah. Then we've got the Dino Slayer Rayson. So first skill takes 1 round to cast, has a 80% chance to launch 3 independent attacks against enemy squads. Each attack selects a target separately, and dealing 102%, 204, and 408% damage. So it's a heavy damage dealer, which deal damage across all rows. Pretty interesting. Then we've got the Hero's Q deals 7.75% more additional damage from skills, and this effect stacks every round up to a maximum of 62%. Right here we've got 12.5 and 100, so basically, like, oh yeah, you just can't stack it over 8 times, but it makes sense, because a fight only lasts 8 rounds, so yeah. I don't really know why they said up to a maximum of 100%. because obviously you can't fight for more than 8 rounds. So yeah. Well, anyway, then we've got some attack, okay, same as always. Then we've got damage, which makes sense because it's a damage dealing hero. And the last one increases infantry attacks of the hero squads by 5.5% and deal 64% damage. See right here, like the last time I said that the damage on right here, it was low because it was 83%, okay? But there is a 1 multiplicator right here. Right there, it's a bit less damage, but the multiplicator is 2. So at the end, it's much more. And it's to 2 random enemy squads instead of 1 on the other one. So always pay attention to the multiplicator right here and also the number of squads and stuff like that. So yeah, another damage dealing spell, skill, whatever. So this hero is basically an insane damage dealer. As a matter of fact, it's one of the best damage dealer in the game, and it's the best for the infantry. Maybe actually Talon is just as good. I made the calculation on the test server, but yeah, I don't have it under my eyes. So anyway, it's one of the best damage dealer in the game. So if you want damage, definitely use him. Backline or mid row, whatever. It kind of depends on what you're running with him, but most of the time you're gonna want to use him as a backline. Nothing much to say about this hero, I guess. Honestly, it's like there's no weird mechanic. Yeah, it's like it's just a big damage dealer that it's like a truck and deals damage across all rows. So pretty impressive. Nothing crazy, but he hits so hard that he has to be tier S. That's about it, guys. If you have questions about the heroes, hit me up in the comments. I hope you enjoy the videos, and see you next week.